Hey guys, welcome to the shop. Now it's been a real busy week. We got several things to share with you. I got Adam Booth's visit. He actually came and hung out in the shop for a little while. And I got the meet and greet that we did this week, which I really enjoyed. I got some machine work and I got some other things. So let's go in the shop and get started. Alright guys, now today, as far as machine work, we're going to be trying to sharpen a tap. Now, this will be my first time ever attempting it, so we could get mixed results, I don't know. But I know that you can do it, and I'm going to try to. Now this is a 7/8, it's a 7/8 14 National Fine. And this tap has been sharpened before. I can see it on the edges of the teeth that it has. And sharpening taps is not anything new. You know, people have been doing that for, as long as there's been taps. But it's not something that's really common. So we're going to attempt to do it. We're going to try to sharpen this tap, and then we're going to run it through a hole and see if we can get, satisfactory results. So let me bring you in a little closer. I'm going to show you the setup, and then we'll give it a shot. Alright, let me show you a little bit about this setup. Now I'm using two centers here. This tap happens to have centers in both ends. I'm assuming they just use those in the original manufacturing process. A lot of your larger taps will have those. And all we're going to do is come in and dress the cutting edge as far as the front of this tooth, where all the really cutting takes place. We're just going to dress that up just to bring this edge back to a good sharp point. And this tap has been sharpened before. I can see where somebody's come in here with a grinder. You can't see it probably, but I can. And they've touched up the edges of it. Now, a tap like this has radial relief, so when we sharpen it, remove some of this front edge, we will reduce it in diameter. And you can only sharpen them so much before they go out of spec. But it's pretty common, I think, for places that run a lot of taps to send their taps off and have them sharpened. It's probably more economical than buying new ones. They run them for a certain period of time and then send them off. So I've got a universal center here, and actually made this center here. It's just a temporary one for this job. Here is a couple shots of me grinding this center. I machined it on the lathe, and then I put it in this 5C driver and come in and just touched it up just to make sure everything's correct, because I had to machine that shank down. You can see it reduces up at the collet. It's actually a 3/4 inch solid shank, and then I had to machine it down more, cut a relief in it in order to get clearance to grind this tap. And after I machined it, I wanted to grind it back in. There's me checking my center and just making fine adjustments, gluing it and double checking until I get it correct. And then after we're done here, you'll see that I diamond polish it. When I'm satisfied that I get basically no wiggle in this gauge, I consider that good enough for what I'm doing. And here's a shot of before I diamond polish it, and then we'll clean it up, and then I'll show you after. This little lathe, I don't use it for much, but for this, diamond polishing this center that I just ground. Stefan Gottswinner does this also. I'm just using cheap diamond paste off eBay. This stuff is, like $12, I think, give or take a few dollars for a whole assortment of different abrasiveness, different types of abrasive, all diamond, different grits. I'm just using a standard stick and just polishing this center up. Here it is. Picture of it after, just a light polishing. I wasn't trying to make this thing a mirror, but you can see the difference between here and then up here. Couldn't polish this up here because of this cut. So not too bad. Good enough. It's just temporary really anyway. And I didn't have an actual 60-degree center for this one. And I had to make some relief in it to where I can, grind my tap, come completely off of it. And I've got a finger here that holds this tap at the proper height. Then I'll index to the next, grind, and so on until we're done. So pretty simple setup and something that you probably have never seen before, because I've never seen it before either. So pretty neat. Let's get everything set up. I got a couple more things I want to talk to you about, and then we'll grind this thing. This is my first time meeting Adam, so I was really excited about it. He's a super nice guy, exactly who he is on film. That's who Adam is. So if you feel like you know him, you probably do. We had a lot in common, of course, and he got some film. He did a shop tour. I didn't get so much film because I was talking too much, like always. But I did get some, and I want to show you that. All right, guys, look who's standing in the shop. We got Adam Booth from the channel Abom79. He's been out and about and decided to visit the shop. And I'm extremely excited to have him here, and it's really a treat.
Well, I appreciate you bringing me into the shop here.
Yeah, it's been my pleasure.
Yeah, fortunately, I've had a little bit of time off work, and we wanted to use that to our advantage and hit the road a little bit. And I wanted to come up here to Kentucky because I've never been to Kentucky, and I wanted to visit Steve. And of course, I want to go over and visit Brian Block. He's kind of close also. But just get out and visit with some folks, and like I said, come by and see Steve's shop. I watch his videos, and seeing his shaper. He's known for the shaper footage right here, and it's always great just to be able to come out and see somebody shop in person. It's always a different perspective than watching it on the camera.
Yeah, you really get to see the real deal, and not behind a
Absolutely.
screen, which is it's different.
Just sitting down and just having a chat. Having some shop talk, just talking about all kinds of stuff. So
we've been talking for a couple hours. It's an easy conversation when you get like-minded folks around.
Absolutely.
Tomorrow, which will be our meet and greet that we're putting on, should be pretty fun. I'm really excited about that. And
I am too.
Yeah, it should be a good time.
I think you're going to really enjoy it. It's going to be his first meet and greet, and he says he's a little nervous about it, but
I am. Yeah.
We got a few YouTubers coming, and I think we're going to have a pretty good crowd. And I think you're going to really enjoy it. It's going to be great being able to finally meet and talk to some of those YouTube viewers that are always watching your videos.
Yeah. See, I've had a few shop visitors in here because the channel's still new, and it's always nice to meet people who watch and care about what you're doing, and it makes it worth it. So I'm super glad that Adam come by. I'm stoked about it. I've been watching him forever, and if you haven't watched him, make sure to go do that. It's top class stuff. So
if any of your viewers haven't watched my channel, you can go to my channel, Abom79, and I also have a big shaper. I have a 32-inch G&E. And I've got a lot of videos on that, so go check them out.
A really nice shaper, really good shape, and he's doing some good work on it. So definitely go check him out. You won't be disappointed. He's got some good stuff out there. So thanks, guys.
See you.
I also used my radius tangent dresser for the first time, which was a learning experience for me. I'd never used one before, and I put a 5/32 radius in this wheel. And I did that just to match what the previous grinder of the previous person who ground this tap, I'm just trying to match what they done. We're just going to dress these cutting edges up and tap a hole with it just to prove that we can do it. Now, the meet and greet, that was a lot of fun. We had like 30 or 40 people show up, and it was just a pleasure to get to meet some of you guys. So thanks for showing up. I really appreciate it. I shook a lot of hands and talked a lot, which is easy for me. Steve Barton and his daughters. Solid Rock Machine Shop. So if you don't know Steve, go check him out. He's got a pretty good channel.
How'd you guys meet?
And of course, Abom79. And we got Brian Block. So some heavy hitters here today. It's been a really good time. We've had a lot of good conversation, and A lot of fun.
And
A lot of people
like
showed
South
up.
Carolina a lot better. So we
With my wife? Elizabeth?
yeah.
This was getting kind of late in the event. Some people had already left. I'd say there was 30 plus people showed up, so it was a really good event. You know, I didn't have my tripod with me, so the footage that I got's kind of shaky. So just a quick shot of the surroundings and the event. We had a lot of fun. Thanks to everybody who showed up. So I'm going to get you in close here. We're going to grind these cutting edges. We're just going to touch them up. That's all we're going to do. And then we'll try it, and I'll show you some other things that I got. One of my viewers from the channel, Cutting Tool Designer, who I've talked to before, really smart guy on cutters and stuff, told me that last week, where we ground that big cutter and I found the taper in it, said that's common. It's supposed to have that taper, and that is to account for end mill deflection. And there's a standard for that. And I was really surprised to learn that, but after he mentioned it and I thought about it, it made perfect sense. You know, all cutting tools are going to deflect a certain amount, depending on their rigidity and stuff. And if you machine in a taper to begin with, it makes actually a more accurate part. So I was really surprised about that. So thank you. Go check out Cutting Tool Designer. Some neat stuff. And thanks to all those who comment on some of the stuff that we're doing, that have information that'll help out, because you can't learn all this stuff in 3 weeks. That's for sure. It is a deep subject. So I'm going to get you in a little closer and we'll touch up these edges and give this thing a try. I blued it so we can see where we're grinding. This thing, I want to put me a switch for my vacuum system so I don't have to keep plugging and unplugging stuff. Let's grind this guy. Alright, so I'm going to be holding this tap against this finger so it's supporting it. And then I'm just going to lower this down until I start touching and traverse back and forth. Now, I've got my stop set to where I can't run completely back on this tap. This wheel's a little large to actually sharpen this tap, but we're going to try it anyway. And this is the first time I've ever used this wheel. This wheel was a gift from Rick Brandon. It had a little chip in it, so I had to dress it anyway. So I dressed it into this 5/32 radius. Work my way down, trying to pay attention to where I actually grind and not overheat the teeth on this tap. You got to be real careful, man, when your hands are this close to the wheel. But this is the way it's done. At least the way that I believe that it's done from all the images that I've seen. Just got to be real careful. That's about it. All right, let's go look at it. Don't look that bad. Let's go check it out on the bench. Well, I learned several things on this, and that it's not as easy as you think. I should have used a smaller wheel, would have allowed me to get up into these back teeth a little better without hitting the shank. And I would have been a little more careful. I hit one of these front leading edges trying to index without coming all the way up against my stop on the table. So I kind of rotated it into the wheel a little. And that's all it takes to ruin something like this, especially on the front leading edge where most of your cutting's going on. I hit it right there. But I'm smarter than I was when I started, and that's kind of the goal of all this. I sharpened an end mill the other day. I did it off camera. Posted a picture of it on my Instagram. And on my Facebook, and I was successful on that. It really turned out nice. And it wasn't that bad. But there's a lot going on with the front of one of these, and we'll do one in the future. But, you know, that turned out really well. So, let's drill a hole and see if we can get this thing to run down in it. Alright, we're going to use the big tap wrench for this. Adam gave me this oil can. It's an Eagle. Really nice. He got it at one of his thrift store visits, or his, visits where he's touring around. That's a 13. Forget the tap or the hole size, but we're using our big tap wrench because it's a big tap. And just starting it by hand. Huh? Wow. Just mild steel, but it cuts and feels like a new one. No doubt about that. This is a bottoming tap too, so they don't start easy. And we boogered up that one thread on it, or the thread, that one tooth, so right at the leading edge. So I'm surprised it actually cuts as good as it does. I think that looks pretty good, and good sharp threads. This is mild steel, and we drilled it 13/16 for the 7/8 14 National Fine, so I'm pretty happy with that. You know, I think with a little more practice, we could do this pretty easy. That's pretty promising, I think. You know, we'll practice that and try to get good at it and sharpen all of our dull taps because I've got lots of them. Let's go check the garden out real quick because it has grown tremendously in the last week, and then we'll come back here and I'll show you some of the stuff that I've got. Alright, here's a little different angle. We got the beans, cucumbers, zucchini, and some peppers. Not a whole lot of peppers, but we got some. And this is the smaller end of the garden, but it's doing pretty good. We're starting to get a lot of silks on it, so it's actually starting to produce some corn, which is good. Let's go down and look at the other garden. What are you doing, buddy? We got the upper garden, and of course here's the lower garden, and it is looking really good. In a week's time, that corn's grown, 6 inches, 6-8 inches easy. I mean, it was like that last week. Amazing how fast it turns around. Everything's doing really well. Tomatoes look good. Of course, the corn looks good, and the peppers and beans look good. Peppers and what is that? Sweet potatoes. Peppers and sweet potatoes grow so fast. It's amazing. What are you doing, Butters? Come here. Huh? Keep the coons out, okay? I think that garden looks pretty good, if you ask me. I'm really excited about it. We got my mom's already done some canning. We got some zucchini and some squash. And I can't wait for that corn to come in. It's already getting good silks on it too. So it won't be long. I finally got some 5C collets, some decent ones. These are used, but got them, of course, where everybody gets everything used, usually, and that's off eBay. And I didn't pay that much for them. I did, of course, pay for them, but I think I got a decent deal. It was not too bad. I got 35 of them, and it's a pretty good assortment. I still, of course, need to get a lot more than this to fulfill a whole set, but I'm pretty happy with my start. Let me bring you in to show you these. Now these are red stripes, I believe, RSB. Most of them. There's a couple hardings in here, and then a what is it, a Rivette, or yeah, RIVETT. So these are good American-made collets, and they're of course used, but I'll pick through them and get the ones that are not true, and I'll get rid of them and replace those. But I bought this, of course, used, and it's just a good start to my collection because I don't have that many. I've got some cheap junk ones, but they are complete garbage. I'll show you guys those in the future. But also, I won a contest, which I never win anything. Let me show you what I got. I won a really nice brass hammer, shop made by Stephen Lang, a hat, and some literature, and I was really happy about that. I never win anything. Alright, so big thanks to Stephen Lang from Shark River Machine. He's a patron and viewer of mine. I watch his channel too, so if you haven't checked him out, go check him out. He's got a pretty neat little channel over there. So we're still trying to get our hardwood floor in the house. We haven't even actually started putting it down, and my wife's getting a little antsy for us to get that done. But finding the time's tough. We've definitely had a busy last couple of weeks, and there's only so much time. So thanks for watching, guys. Thanks to all my old subscribers, all my new ones. If you haven't, click on my little guy up here. Thanks to my patrons, and hit the bell for notifications. And as always, I'll see you next time.